to take a couple notes because it's a little bit of a process. So what we're going to do today is an as-built drawing, which means we're just capturing something, right? It's already built. It could be a piece of equipment. It could be a part. It could be land. So what we're going to do is take a photo of it. And what we're going to use is this target. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to take a photo of something, bring it into AutoCAD, scale it appropriately, and then dimension off of the drawing, off the photo. Okay, that's it. So this is what we're going to use is this target. So what I did was I set the target on the ground, used my phone, took a picture of it. And what you want is you kind of want it as straight as you can get it. So the horizontal, this horizontal line is horizontal and that vertical line is vertical. So whatever you're taking a picture of, try and line it up in your phone to where you get it perpendicular to it as much as possible. Like if it was a building, right? You want to stand nice and flat and shoot at it straight to one side, right? Where vertical things appear vertical, horizontal things appear horizontal. That's the best you can do. Once you have the image, you need at least one good dimension. So what I did when I was in the field is I tried to take dimensions on as much as I could, right? But you're always going to forget something. Like an as-built is super complicated. This, to get all the dimensions on this, it would take a while and you might miss something, right? So the theory is here, we can take the picture, pull it into AutoCAD, scale it appropriately so everything's approximately the right size, and then trace it, right? And we'll get the numbers that we need. Okay. The one number you will need is one good dimension. So that outer diameter I have as 6 3/4. Yeah, 6.75. Okay. So that's going to be my reference dimension. You need one of them at least. All right. Once you have that, you go to AutoCAD. Not that. And open up a new drawing, probably use your template. I set up a layer for the graphic. So I just went into here, made a layer called target, and then I'll probably use the 0 layer for other things. Once you're in here, you pull in your image. The way you do that is you insert, and then there's this reference area, and then attach. So if you leave your mouse over it, it'll tell you what it's going to do. Inserts references such as drawings, raster images, that's what we're doing, and underlays. So obviously you got to send the image from your phone to an email or something that you can get a hold of, download it to your computer. I've already done all that, and I'm going to attach it. So here it is. It came in as some weird file, but I can see it, right? Came from my phone. So I open it. Really, you have no idea what size this is. It's a picture with your phone, right? So it doesn't really matter what you do, how you bring it in. If you bring it in 1-to-1, it'll probably be pretty small, but that's what I'm going to do. You can also specify it on screen, which means you can like size it up and down. I don't do that. I want it not to get tweaked in the X and Y. Like you don't want to do this because then you can skew it X and Y, and that's not good. So I just leave everything 1-to-1 and say, okay. So then it's on the mouse. You see it there. You can just place it anywhere and then zoom in and you'll see it. So now we bring this image into AutoCAD. And again, I have it on the target layer, and that's so I can turn it off when I want to turn it off, turn it on when I want to turn it on. So the next step after you get your image in is you have to trace at least one line, and you want to trace the line that you know the size of. So we measured this line from here to here, right? 6.75. So I'm just going to go line, and this is where, I mean, you can zoom in, but you'll see the resolution of your phone. I'll click there, and then I'll zoom in over here. And I do want it horizontal, right? So then I'm just going to type in whoops. No, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to sketch it. So I'm horizontal, I think. I don't have that working. I need to get that going. Forward tracking's on 90. All right. There it is. So it looks like my image is a little off of horizontal, right? But I still want to get that outside edge. All right, so I just traced that. Once you get it traced, you can leave this on or you can turn it off for a second. So I'll just turn it off for a second just so we kind of see what's going on. Then I'll work on the zero layer. Oops. I guess I put it on that layer, didn't I? Let's do that again. All right, there's my line right there. I'm going to put that on the zero layer. Doesn't really matter. You can leave it all because when you scale it, you're going to scale everything. That line that you drew and the image. Okay. So if I looked at the size of the thing, I'm going to dimension that line. Whoops. I'm going to dimension that line. Remember, I zoomed in a long ways.
Is there a way to get the dimensions to scale with you? Because it's always,
Yeah.
always having to go there.
Yeah, no, I'll show you. Yeah, you don't have to. So if you just grab it when you scale, it'll go with it. Okay. So now this thing says it's 0.359 inches long, right? Super small. And we want it 6.75. So scale. Select objects, include the dimension, include the graphic, include your line. I'm just putting a window around everything, right? And then the scaling point can be anywhere. After you hit enter, it'll say base point. You have to go through all this before you get to that final option. So I'm going to do it right there as my base point. So that'll be my point of explosion, right? It'll just be growing from there. Now, to get it exactly the way you want it, you can see there's an option down below called reference, R. Reference lets you put in a number and then put in a new number and it'll scale it to that. Because I don't know how many, what's the scale going to be? I have no idea. That's why reference is so nice. Okay. I do need to remember that first number, 0.3590, I think. I'm going to make sure. Yeah, 0.3590. I need that number as the reference. And then 675 is going to be what I want to go to. And it'll just figure out the scale for me. Scale, everything, base point. Once you get the base point, it'll go reference. And it wants the first number, 0.3590. That's what I'm putting in. Okay. Then the second, this is the new length, is 6.75. Hit enter and it does it. Zoom back and that number should be 6.75. It's pretty close, like, right? 9 thousandths off. So that's as good as you're going to get. All right, so now this thing is the right size in AutoCAD. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Then you just get to work. I'll get rid of that. You just get to work tracing it, like circle, right? And you can use the midpoint of your line. My line is slightly off of the image, right? If I zoom in, there's my midpoint of my line. It's just ever so slightly off. So you could actually move that image around a little bit and try and get it just centered up, or rotate the image a little and try and get it just perfect. The more time you spend trying to get it, the better. Because you'll see when I go to position this, right? It's gonna like have a hard time. Like you got to decide outer edge, inner edge, what do you want to do, right? So then you just start drawing. That layer's bugging me, so I'll probably go to the zero layer and send all this to the zero layer. All right. So then you just keep working, right? Just circle, get it all in there.
Is there a way to change the opacity of the original image so that you can kind of see what you draw on?
Not that I know of.
Do it in Illustrator.
Just do wide with the radius.
You can do math if you wanted to, but the kind of the point of this exercise is to trace it, just to see how close we can get from capturing positioning and then tracing, right? So you can see that circle's off quite a bit, right? And that's because my whole image is just slightly tilted. So everything's just, and that center point wasn't in the direct center. So, you know, if I want to, I can like try to center that up with the move command, grabbing everything, right? Grabbing this midpoint and then bringing it down to where I think the midpoint is, like that. So that's, now it's looking better, right? Just that one move of the drawing compared to the picture. So I might get rid of that thing and try that one again. Right now that center point's looking pretty good. You should be able to get this pretty spot on. Right? That looks pretty good. Then this circle, and then anytime, you know, if this gets complicated, I can just turn the target off and I can see my drawing back behind it. Right? We want to get them all. We want to get all these lines and all those grid lines, put them all on and trace them. Don't do the division. See how close we can get. Okay. So then once you get it all done, you're good to go. That's it. That's the whole project for today. Going from image to drawing. Yeah. It'll be with it. So you can turn the drawing, you can turn the image off, but it'll still be in the file when you deliver it. When you capture the DWG, it all goes together, packages it. Yeah. I'm really curious about the raster. Here, let's see. So I can choose it, see what comes up over here. Brightness, contrast. I wonder what fade is. No.
Oh, yeah. That would make it a lot easier.
But I don't think, oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah, you're right. The fade's perfect. Very nice. So all I did was took the image, you know, grabbed it, and then the properties came up over here. And then, yeah, you guys called it. Fade is perfect. I wonder what max fade is. That's just gone. Yeah, that's nice. It's super nice. Yeah. Yeah, and if you wanted to like get rid of this, you can see how this is a little closer to the top. And then on this side, it's a little closer to the bottom. That's just a rotation, right, of the image. So you could play with that. It's pretty hard to get that perfect. But
They're like, hey, this is going to be accurate to within.
So for everything I did was heavy equipment, and that was pretty big numbers. And I always felt like I could be within like a 1/4 inch. Yeah. Which, depending on what the geometry was, that might be good enough. Like if it was an important geometry, it wouldn't work. I would actually have to get on the phone and say, hey, you guys need to go measure this for me. Because a lot of my stuff I did was in other districts. So like California, Hawaii, Alaska. So when I would come back to Portland, I'd be like screwed if I forgot something.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I always did this. And I could solve 99% of my problems from this because I would have a lot of the geometry captured in my notes, right?
So when you see it, you're like, I know exactly.
Yeah. I would have so much of it defined that I could really, if I made a good image, and that's what I learned was, damn, that image has got to be perpendicular. Like when you take a picture of this, get directly above it, like directly above it. Because if you're shooting at something at an angle, all the dimensions are wrong. So it saved me a lot. Yeah. Good, you got it? All right.
Stuff about that.
This is it. Yeah. It's a simple one today. I'm gonna turn this off. Yep. Go put it on the ground, take a picture of it.